So we're going to start, we'll start today's practice in child's pose. So if you want extra support, you can always grab a bolster or a couple pillows to place underneath your belly or your chest. Otherwise, you're welcome to just start to drape yourself over top of your thighs. Finger tips can reach forward, but you can always have a soft bend into your elbows if you're feeling a lot of tension in the tops of your shoulders. You might notice as you come into this shape that it's feeling a little sticky today, or your knees aren't feeling really pliable. Maybe hips are just kind of creaking their way down into this shape, and know that that's okay. Just simply start to breathe and give yourself the space and the time to ease into your own body through breath work. You can take a counted breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Find a pause at the top, and then just exhale out for 4, 3, 2, 1. And then inhale through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale out through your mouth for 4, 3, 2, 1. Feel a pause and emptiness. And just continue to inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold in fullness. And exhale out 4, 3, 2, 1. And so you can just continue to breathe at your own pace. The slow, steady movement of your breath. And I think that this plays really beautifully into kind of the theme we explored last of compassion and understanding, and not just towards ourselves, but to others. And I think one of the greatest practices of compassion is just simply to breathe. And especially that little pause between your breath, between the inhale and the exhale. It's a moment where time just seems to stop. Even the movement of your body stops for just a moment, and it gives you space to sigh out when you exhale, or it gives you space to start over and to take that big deep breath. It's always in the pauses for me that I find patience for myself, but also for others. And so compassion really comes from a place of just slowing down and acknowledging that we can show up in a better way, or that we can just be a little more present. So just take about 3 or so more breaths here for yourself. Breathing in what you need, holding it close in that pause. And then just exhaling out anything you don't need to bring into this practice or into this day. Pausing in emptiness. 2 more breaths. And then slowly start to walk your hands in towards your hips. Knees can stay as they are. Now, if this doesn't feel good for your knees, you can always start to just lift your hips away from your heels. And then if you need extra support, you can always grab a block or a bunch of books and just have it to either side. Plant your right hand down beside you, so either onto that prop or just onto fingertips. And as you inhale, start to lift your hips away from the earth, and then peel your left fingertips over to the right side of your mat. So you're kind of in a modified camel shape, but with that extra side stretch. And then as you exhale, just start to sweep your left fingertip forward. Hips might pull back just to help with balance. And then plant your left hand beside you. Send your hips forward and start to reach your right fingertips over. Okay, now again, especially if you haven't been in this shape in a while, or you're just feeling extra tight today, this might feel a little sticky the first few rounds, but we're just gonna flow through it. Okay. As you exhale, sweep your right hand forward, send your hips back. Right hand plants beside your right hip, and then take your hips forward, left fingertips reach over. Okay. And then as you exhale, send your hips back, circle your arm forward and off to your side, and then reach your right hand over. And just continue side to side. Those blocks will help if the ground feels really far for you to reach. So know that that's always an option, to bring the ground to you rather than trying to bring your body to the ground. Squeeze your glutes when you lift your hips away from your heels to really bring your hips forward and get into the fronts of your hips and hip flexors. Let's take one more round to each side, or you can finish off so that you end up reaching over with your right hand. And then the next time that you go to come through center, you can just start to walk your knees in close, take your hands in close so that you're in tabletop. Okay. Tuck your toes under, slide your right toes back. So you lengthen out your right leg, press into both feet and start to lift the hips into a modified down dog. So left knee will stay bent, right leg stays long and extended. Press into your hands to slide your shoulders away from your ears, and then feel the magnetism of your right heel towards your mat. On your next exhale, lower your left knee down, bring your right knee under your hip and find the other side. Left leg now extends back. Tuck both toes under and start to peel your hips up to the sky. Really driving down through your left heel to bring length into the back of that leg specifically. Notice if you're breathing, can you come back to that count of 4 breath in and count of 4 breath out. Slowly lower your knees all the way back and down. It's a really quick heart opener. Start to walk your fingertips forward, landing onto your elbows, forehead to your mat. Keep your hips above your knees. Hands can stay rooted, or you can always play with a prayer position. Bring your palms together to touch, and then hands lift up and over top of your head, thumbs landing to the nape of your neck. Can you breathe really gently into the sides of the rib cage? So this doesn't have to be a forceful pose. Think about this as truly embodying the melting of the heart. Feel how gravity is giving you this gentle invitation down towards the earth. And slowly start to walk your hands back up and towards your body. And step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Tuck your left toes under and then step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Feet a little bit wider and then just fold at the top of your mat. Reach for opposite elbows. So either grabbing opposite elbows, you can always hook your hands into your elbow creases and just drape your body. Dangling pose. Let your head hang heavy. You might gently sway side to side. Release any grip that you have with your fingertips. Take an inhale breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Peel your hips back, reach the crown of your head forward. Exhale to fold. Bend into your knees, inhale, breath, sweep your arms all the way up. Take a giant stretch. And exhale, gather your hands to your heart. Take a pause, a full breath in. And a long breath out. Just let those last few movements drip away from your shoulders. Inhale, breath, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale to forward fold, soft bend into your knees. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold, plant your hands, step your left toes back. Now, I really like blocks for this pose, so you're always welcome to grab blocks or books to place your hands on. Keep your back knee lifted and just begin to flow through some movement. So take a full breath in. As you exhale, straighten out your front leg, straighten out your back leg, and begin to take your heart towards your knee. Inhale, breath. Bend into your front knee, drop your left hip down, send your heart forward. And then exhale, straighten out that front leg and begin to fold. And don't worry if you don't feel like you're folding a lot, just find that almost rocking chair motion and moving forward and shifting some weight back. Maybe then melting your left heel to the ground in your pyramid when you start to straighten out your legs. Notice how as you come into this shape, there's just a little bit more room for you each time that you flow through this series. Let's take one more round of breath and movement. And the next time that you come in towards your lunge, you can take your hands off of your blocks if you'd like. Three-legged dog, sweep your right foot all the way up towards the sky. Bend into your right knee, stack into your hip. Feel your right hip peel open over top of the left. And then start to circle your right knee. One big circle, bringing your right knee down beside your left. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. Take your right knee out to the side and up. Pause at the top of that inhale. And then exhale, move the other way. Just one circle. Pause at the top again. Take an extra sip of air. And then exhale, gently release your right foot back down. Looking forward, tippy-toe your way to the top of your mat. So take your time to lengthen out the backs of your legs. Beautiful. Once you come to the top, take an inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. And exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale, breath, sweep your arms out and up. And exhale, gather your hands to heart center. And just pause for a minute. No need to rush. All right. Inhale, sweep back and up with your arms like you're gathering. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, breath to halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Plant your hands, step your right toes back. Hands can come onto blocks. That'll just give you a little extra space to move through these two poses. Otherwise, hands are rooted to the ground. Take a full breath in. Start to lower your right hip. Arc your heart forward. Exhale, straighten out your front leg. Drop your right heel towards earth and fold. Inhale, breath. Bend into your front knee. Open through the chest. And exhale to hinge and fold. And just move at your own pace, knowing your body better than anybody else in this world. And so that you really have this opportunity to show up with compassion for how your body feels today, to let go of the irrelevant information of what you've seen this pose look like or what you think it needs to look like, and just start to create a practice that fully represents you and how your body is feeling. Let's take one more movement forward and back. And then the next time that you meet into your lunge, you can bring your hands off of your blocks. Three-legged dog, sweep your left foot back behind you as gracefully as you can. And then bend into your left knee, stacking your hips. You feel like you're pulling your left inner thigh up towards the ceiling. And then slowly start to scoop your left knee down towards your right. Hug your knee into your chest. Inhale, reach your knee out to the side and stack your hip. Exhale, start to move the other direction. It's a long, slow circle with your breath. Use your inhale to come all the way up to the top and then gently release your left toes down. Walk your feet out wide. Soft bend into your knees and then walk your hands to the back of your mat. Once your hands onto the back of your mat, pick up your toes one at a time, turn your toes out to the side, and just begin to sink your hips down. Yogi Squat. If this doesn't feel okay this morning to come all the way down, just keep your hips lifted. I always like to find a little bit of movement here. So you can pick up one heel at a time as you move side to side. It might just be a gentle kind of shifting to left and right, as long as that feels okay on your knees. Hands can help steady you, or you can keep hands at heart center. Wherever you are, can you close down your eyes and be fully present with your body? Start to worry less about the external world and just focus on what's happening within. And if your hands are at heart center, start to root them out in front of you. Press into your fingertips. Inhale, pick your hips all the way up. Turn your toes to face the front and fold. Take an inhale breath, halfway lift and lengthen. And exhale to fold. Let's take two more just like that. Inhale, lengthen. Feel your hips pull in the opposite direction of your head. And then exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, breath. Tip a little bit more weight forward into the balls of your feet. And exhale to fold. Walk your fingertips forward to downward facing dog. If you need to make any adjustments, you're welcome to. On an inhale breath, draw your right heel high to the sky, bend into your right knee, stack into your hip. As you exhale, step through low runner's lunge. Keep your back knee lifted. Take a full breath in. Exhale, just come into your pyramid for a moment. On your next inhale, shift forward again. Bend into your front knee. This time, lower your back knee. Lift your fingertips up to the sky, monkey lunge. Okay, beautiful. Interlace your hands behind your back. Just roll your shoulders up and down. Okay. Begin to send your left hip forward. Bring your right hip back. As your knuckles become heavier, allow your heart to lift higher. On your next exhale breath, gently release your hands to frame your front foot. Send your hips back half splits. Turn your right toes all the way up towards the sky. Lengthen out your spine, reach the crown of your head forward. Left fingertips root down. On an inhale breath, start to twist open. Right hand slides up towards your right hip, or right fingertips start to reach up to the sky. If this isn't available, grab a block to take your left hand onto, so it's not quite as deep of a hinge of the hips. You squeeze your inner thighs together like you're trying to hold a $100 bill between your thighs. Beautiful. As you exhale, gently release your right hand towards your mat. Bend back into your front knee. You tuck your toes. And then inhale, sweep your right foot all the way up, three-legged dog. Bend into your right knee. Take one circle in each direction. Use half of your breath for half of the circle, and then complete the other half of the circle with the end of your breath. Move the opposite direction as well. And then inhale will bring you up to the top. As you exhale, take your right knee to your nose, and then slowly lower your right shin onto your mat. Turn and pivot, open to the left side. So you're in a modified plank. Left fingertips will reach all the way up. And then start to reach your left fingertips over towards the top of your mat. Squeeze your glutes to turn this into more of a rock star, more of a heart opener. Start to send your hips out in front of you and start to trace your left fingertips back behind. So instead of having a neutral spine, you're starting to open up through the chest, through your belly. Beautiful. When you go to exhale, make your way onto your seat. Left fingertips start to slide forward. Right foot lands to the inside of your left leg. Okay. Turn your shoulders to square with your extended leg. Inhale breath, just reach your fingertips all the way up. Lengthen out your spine. And as you exhale, start to fold. Take a full breath in. Feel the pause at the end of your inhale. And allow yourself to drape as you exhale. Let's take 2 more breaths just to feel into the length of the spine, into the length given to the back of your extended leg. All right. Walk your hands back up in towards your body. So you're stacking shoulders over hips. Let's flow between those 2 poses. Plant your right hand beside your hip. Inhale, press into the earth, lift up onto your right shin. Reach through your left fingertips. Exhale, lower onto your seat, and then fold over top of your extended leg. Now, if you need an extra breath in each movement, you're welcome to take it. Just make sure that you inhale, reach over, and then the exhale is really where you fold. So your exhale might just bring you down and you take another inhale to reset, or the exhale takes you all the way into the fold. Take about 3 more rounds of breath and movement. Each time you come into your rock star, squeeze your hips, send them forward. And then each time that you come into your fold, relax through the back of the body. Feel like you're draping in towards yourself. On your last round of breath and movement, when you fold, this time start to walk your hands back up in towards your hips, so shoulders stack once again. Scoop up your straightened leg. Picking up from the back of the knee, start to stack your left knee over top of your right, facing the side of your mat. Okay, so you'll be in shoelace, pinky side edges of your feet to the ground. Now, if this doesn't feel good for your body, you can always just lift up your left hip and straighten out your bottom leg. So your left knee is stacking somewhere over top of your right thigh, or it might be more of a figure 4 shape as well. You're welcome to stay upright in this pose. Otherwise, there's a really beautiful opportunity to open up the side body. So you can start to walk your right fingertips out to the side and just reach your left hand all the way up and over. And then as you inhale, lift back up through center, release your left hand down, and inhale, reach your right arm over. You can just kind of flow through this, almost like a tree swaying in the breeze, just moving side to side. The way that your legs are wound up actually allows you to really root through the seat and take this length all the way down into the sides of the hips. You might end up bending more into the arm that's closest towards the earth to create more depth. But know that you can always stay up onto fingertips or keep that arm straight. Let's take 1 more round of movement. And then when you come all the way up through center, this is going to be a little bit of a different transition. You're going to end up in a goddess squat. Okay. So your left knee should be stacked over top of your right. If it's the other way, just move opposite of what I'm telling you. Okay, so left knee is over right. Start to walk your hands to the right side of your body. Your left hip will roll up as you press into your hands. Turn your body 180 to face the other long edge of your mat. So start to pick your hips up, turn and pivot your toes. Toes will turn out to 10 and 2. Okay. And then sink your hips down towards the ground. Once you feel ready, place your hands onto your thighs, thumb to your inner thighs, hands wrap around. Okay, so you should be facing the opposite way. Once you come into this goddess squat, just start to lean forward. We're gonna find movement again. So take a full breath in. And then as you exhale, start to twist, press into your left inner thigh, drop your left shoulder towards the ground and look to the right. Inhale, breath, lift up through center. You can always straighten the legs a little. And then exhale, sink your hips, drop your right shoulder, look over to the left. Let's take 2 more to each side. Inhale, lift up through center. Exhale to twist. Inhale, breath, lift up through center, and exhale to twist. One more to each side, just playing with depth, feeling that pause between the movement, and then opportunity to really sink down. Okay. This time when you go to lift up through center, straighten out your legs and then reach your arms all the way up. Big full body stretch. And then exhale, take your hands onto your hips. Start to turn your toes to the top of your mat. So begin to turn your left toes, maybe slightly out to the side. Right toes will point forward. Okay. As you inhale, reach your left fingertips all the way up. And then as you exhale, start to hinge forward. So opposite hand and foot meet. Pause for a moment with a flat back. And then exhale, start to twist. Bring your front hand to the outside of your front leg. Squeeze your inner thigh towards one another. Okay. See if you can roll your right shoulder a little bit more open. And then as you exhale, just simply begin to fold over top of your front leg back into your pyramid. Take a full breath in and a long exhale breath out. Step yourself to a fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, breath to halfway lift and lengthen. And exhale to fold. If you're at the back of your mat, no worries, or if you're facing the wrong way, it's all good. Bend into your knees, inhale, breath, sweep your arms all the way up. And then exhale, gather your hands through to heart center. You release your palms down beside your hips. Roll your shoulders once or even twice. And just pause for 5 full breaths before moving to this other side. Allow that experience to just start to fade away and create that room for whatever you need in these next poses. Patience, courage, kindness. To just drop whatever stories you were telling yourself and simply breathe. On your inhale breath, reach your arms out and up, big full body stretch. Exhale to forward fold, soft bend into your knees. Inhale breath, halfway lift and lengthen. And exhale to fold. Plant your hands, step back to downward facing dog. On your inhale breath, sweep your left heel high to the sky, bend into your left knee, stack into your hip. As you exhale, step through, left foot lands towards the top of your mat. Optional to use blocks if you want, you're only here for about a breath. When you exhale again, straighten out your front leg and just fold into your pyramid shape. Bend back into your front knee, lower your right knee to your mat this time, monkey lunge. Inhale, start to peel your arms up towards the sky. And then exhale, release your hands down by your sides. Interlace your fingers with that opposite kind of sticky grip. Roll your shoulders and then really lean back. Lean back into your knuckles. Begin to send your hips forward to balance out this opening of your chest. You squeeze your glutes. Take one more full breath in. And then exhale, gently release your hands to frame your front foot, half splits. Send your hips back, straightening out your front leg, and turn your left toes up towards the sky. Always optional to add a block underneath your right hand. When you start to inhale, twist open to the left. Left hand comes up towards your hip, or can reach all the way up towards the ceiling. Draw your inner thighs close to one another. And then as you exhale, gently release your left hand down. Bend back into your front knee, walking your fingertips forward. 3-legged dog. Sweep your left foot back behind you. One full circle in each direction. Use your breath. Once you come to the top, begin a circle in the other direction. And then as you exhale, take your left knee to your nose, lower your left shin onto your mat. Turn and pivot open to the right. Modified side plank, right fingertips reach up, and start to peel your right fingertips over to the top of your mat. Now you can just stay here. You'll notice that you have a fairly neutral spine, or you can start to turn this more into a front line opener. Squeeze your hips, start to take your right fingertips to trace back behind you. Okay, so just a little bit more of peeling your heart open towards the ceiling. And then slowly lower yourself down onto your seat so that your left foot comes to the inside of your right leg this time. You square your shoulders to your extended leg. Take an inhale breath, reach your fingertips all the way up. And then exhale, start to hinge forward and fold. And take 3 full breaths, using your inhales to slightly lengthen your spine, and exhales to just drape a little heavier. Feeling into the length of your left side body. Feeling into the space of your back body. At the bottom of your next exhale, start to walk your hands back up in towards your hips. And let's flow between those 2 poses. So left hand plants beside your hip on the ground or even on a block. Reach over to the top of your mat. Reach through the right side body. As you exhale, fold over top of your extended leg. And just continue with this movement, creating a gentle flow into your joints, a gentle rhythm to link up to. And notice how there's more ease each time that you come in. So it really is that reminder that the first time we try something, whether we've done it a million times, but if it's the first time that day, that it might be a little messy, and that's okay. That we just continue to slowly ease in and learn. All right, let's take 1 more round of breath and movement. And so then after your fold, you'll come back up to that neutral spine. Scoop up your right knee and start to stack a right knee over top of your left. So feet come out to the sides, or you can always take your bottom leg, just leaning back to lift your hip up and straighten it out. Okay. Wherever you've chosen to land, once again, finding that movement side to side. Walk your left fingertips out. As you inhale, reach your right arm up and then over. Inhale, breath will bring you back up through center, and exhale to the other side. Don't feel like you have to go to your depth each time. Just finding a really gentle sway. Should feel deeper sensation each time you come into lateral flexion, and then an ease as you come through center. So there's always that pause and fullness and sensation. And then there's a pause through center in emptiness, feeling that sensation fade. Let's take 1 more movement to each side. So you should end up the last round, bringing your right hand down beside you and left fingertips, reach up and over. And then you'll come all the way back up through center. All right, goddess squat. Start to turn your body towards the left. Plant into your hands and your right foot, pick up your hips. Turn and pivot your toes all the way to the other side of the mat. So you're on the long edge of your mat. Pick up your heels to turn heels in, turn toes out, and then sink your hips all the way down. Walk your hands up to your thighs, and then this time, press into your thighs and start to stack your shoulders over your hips. You notice how your knees stack over your ankles. If your feet are a little bit too wide, your knees are going to start to fall in. So just heel toe your feet closer together. You should be able to see the insides of your knees. Beautiful. Okay, inhale, breath. Reach arms all the way up. Grab a hold of opposite elbows or forearms or wrists, and then just sink into the hips, bringing your hips a little bit lower. Okay, this is meant to be a really strong pose. It's not necessarily meant to be easy. So can you tap into that inner strength, especially in the pauses of your breath? And in those moments, take what you need to just be present. Squeeze your glutes. Feel like you're pressing the outer edges of your knees into a wall behind you. Slide your shoulders down your back. Feel and lean into that tension and a little bit of that discomfort. And just take 2 more breaths. A reminder that even in the hard moments of life, we don't have to give up. We just need to simply breathe. All right. On your next inhale breath, reach your arms all the way up. Take a big giant stretch. And then exhale, bring your hands to your hips. You start to turn yourself so that you're facing the top of your mat again. Now, if I screwed this up for you last time, because I might have gotten my lefts and rights mixed up. So last time I told you to turn your right toes to the top of your mat. So this time left toes. If you're facing the back of your mat, totally fine. All right, inhale, reach your right hand up or whatever hand is opposite of your front leg. As you exhale, just start to hinge and fold, pausing halfway. Take a full breath in. And then exhale, twist. Bring your front hand to the outside edge of your front leg, or you can always take your hand onto a block on the inner foot. Roll through your left shoulder, stacking your left shoulder over your right. Squeeze your inner thighs together. This will help to bring that sensation into the outer edge of your front hip. Take 1 more full breath. As you exhale, gently fold over top of your front leg, pyramid. Take a full breath in and a long, juicy exhale breath out. Bend into both knees, step to a fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, breath to halfway lift and lengthen. And exhale to fold. Bend into your knees, meet into child's pose. Stepping your knees back 1 at a time. Take your knees wide, and then big toes together to touch. Allow your forehead to rest heavy onto your mat, onto the earth. Can you use this as a moment of pause from all of those last few poses to recollect yourself, to regather any pieces that might have wandered away or gotten distracted. Allow your eyelids to rest a little bit heavier. We're going to start to move towards a yin portion of the practice with some longer holds. And know that it's okay if you need to take breaks or you need to use less intensity. Start to walk your fingertips in towards your body. Pick your hips up away from your heels. Walking your knees in, let's just flush out the spine a little bit. So maybe some cat-cows, or maybe just taking hips left and right. Bringing some movement in if it's still feeling a little bit sticky. And then eventually you can begin to scoot both feet over to the right side of your mat and make your way onto your seat. So you can face the top of your mat. Find extend out your left leg and bend your right knee. Okay. Cross your right ankle over top of your left thigh. So you're in a figure 4 shape. And then start to slide your left heel in towards you and just plant your foot wherever is comfortable. So it might be planted far away from your body, or it might be planted really, really close in. The closer that you walk your chest towards your front shin, the more sensation you're going to feel into your right hip. Okay, so you can always pause here, just lean back into your hands. Otherwise, working into square or double pigeon, start to heel toe your left foot to the right edge of your mat. And as you do so, you'll just allow your knees to start to fold over top of one another. So your right shin is essentially stacking over top of your left. Now it's okay if there's a gap between your right knee and your left foot. You can always let a block or a pillow there just so you don't have to hold it up. Another option for this pose, instead of like stacked, is to take your top leg, if it feels like it's pulling on that knee, and just help to move it in front. So you're in a cross-legged position, but instead of the ankles crossing, they're just parallel. Okay. So any of these variations, if you are in the variation with shins stacked or shins in front, you're welcome to stay upright, but you can also start to play with folding forward, draping your body over top of your front shin. You just make sure that there's no pulling into either knee and that you have flexed feet. So pulling your toes up in towards your shin will give you that stability for your knee. Allow your head to hang heavy, chin tucks in towards your chest. A couple of deep, full belly breaths. If you are still in the upright position, you're welcome to just stay there, or you can always move your chest in closer to your shin. So just finding a place where you can settle into the pause of this pose. The yin practice really is all about pausing. It's about taking the time to just sit with yourself and to really unwind any of those beliefs that aren't serving you, to start to let go of whatever it is that's holding you back. It's just a pause to become more aware, more connected, and to call in what you need. Slowly start to walk your hands back up in towards your body. And leaning back, you can use your right hand to help scoop up your right knee. If you're in this shape, you can just start to straighten out your front leg. And you're gonna bring your right knee back behind you, and eventually that front leg is gonna bend. So you wanna end up in a deer shape. And there's a couple of options for this shape. You can take this more into a twist and just start to fold over top of your left thigh. If you want to get more into your glutes, or sorry, not glutes, the front of your right hip, your quads, you can just start to lean to the back left corner of your mat, or some of you may even come down into the forearm or come all the way down. So there's no right or wrong way. If you need that front leg straightened out as well, that's always an option. But this should feel like a release for your right hip. That was just in a fair bit of flexion. If you have a bolster, you're welcome to lay over top of it instead of holding yourself up with your arms. You can always scoop it underneath your left hip or your lower back and just allow yourself some support. Try as best as you can to soften into your glutes, into the front of your right hip, so you can really get deep into the joint and the fascia connective tissue. You allow your breath to be soft, even if this feels really tight, even if this feels really hard or grippy. But that flow that we found throughout our practice, the breathing with movement, is still available here. To feel how you expand through your chest, your shoulders, your rib cage as you breathe in, and how there's an opportunity to soften as you breathe out. Gently start to walk your hands alongside your body to come all the way back through center. And scoop up your back knee, plant your feet wide out in front of you, lean your hands back, and just gently start to wash your knees side to side. Whenever you're ready, you'll start to find figure four, knowing that you can always stop there. So in seated, this time you'll extend your right leg out long, and then left ankle crosses over top of your right thigh. When you're ready, you can start to pull your right heel in and just plant your foot wherever that feels okay. You're welcome to stay here for the first half of the pose or for the remainder of the pose. If you want to play with double pigeon, start to walk your right heel to the left. And then you'll just allow your left knee to stack over top of your right, so that your shoulders are over top of your hips and you're in an upright seat. Make sure that you flex into your left foot so that instead of pointing the toes are starting to pull forward. Always optional, take your left shin in front of your right and play with folding in that shape. Or you can fold with the shin stacked. So double pigeon can be a little bit more intense. Sometimes the sensation we feel in pigeon. Sometimes it's easier, so know that there's no recipe for your practice, that it's really just figuring out the amounts that you need to add in to this hour together. Maybe the specific varieties that you need to add into this recipe of what yoga looks like today. If at any point you need to come out or you need to shift, know that you're always welcome to. And then see if you can just start to find those little pauses between the inhales and the exhales. Notice how these pauses are natural, that you really don't have to force them. Your body naturally takes the slightest of pause right before it takes your next breath. I love to think of these pauses as little moments of enlightenment. Especially the one before the exhale, where you can just sit with something for a moment and then completely release your body, drop into your bones. Soften anywhere that you don't need to be activating muscles to hold you in this shape. And just simply take 3 more breaths. Resist any urge to rush through these breaths so that you can come out of this pose faster. And just slowly, slowly, slowly start to walk your hands up and towards your body. Lean over towards your right hip. You can help to scoop up your left knee and start to bring your left knee out to the side for that deer shape. If you were in figure 4, you can always just start to lean over and then bend both knees so that your feet land, so that your shins are about parallel, but they don't have to be. You can start to lean to the right corner of your mat. Some of you might fold over top of your right thigh or right hip, or you might keep your heart open towards the sky. So either pose should feel like a nice release, but you might prefer one over the other. If you're looking for a little bit more support, this is where you can take your bolster or pillows and you can start to drape yourself back so that you're not quite on the ground, but you are supported. Just make sure whatever shape you found yourself in, there's no pulling into either knee, but especially this one can sometimes feel like it's pulling into the left. So just ease out of the depth if you're ever feeling that sensation. Notice how different this feels than the pose you were just in. And the reminder that that can all change in the shift of a breath. Maybe we don't have to hold on to things or we don't have to rush them. And just allow each breath to bring us into the next moment and the moment after that. Slowly, you can start to walk your hands along your side body, coming all the way back through center. Scoop up your back knee to plant your feet out in front of you, and then just slowly roll yourself down your spine. Once you come all the way down to the end, take a big full body stretch. Should feel really nice for the fronts of your hips, reaching from fingertips all the way to your toes. And then gently just releasing. Bend your knees in towards your chest. Arms can wrap around tops of your shins. And just give yourself a gentle hug. Maybe a gentle rock side to side. And we'll close off this practice with Yogi's Choice. So just sit with the breath for a moment and notice, what do you really crave in this moment? Is it a happy baby pose? Maybe it's twists, so you can always pick your hips up to either side, allow your knees to drop off to the other side. It might be a supine butterfly, or even a pyramid shape, just dropping your knees through center. So there's no right or wrong way to take this last minute of your practice just for you. I know if there's a pose that we missed and it feels like you really need it today, don't feel like you can't come up into seated and take whatever that is. So know that there's always options. And if you do end up coming into Shavasana earlier than I guide you into it, that's also totally fine to just take extra little bit of rest at the end of your practice. Whenever you are ready to come into Shavasana, and just slowly start to make your way there. And if Shavasana, you want props underneath your knees, or you want a pillow underneath your head, just make yourself as comfortable as possible. So Shavasana is also this pause in our practice. It's, especially in the morning, it's a really beautiful pause in our day. Before we start and jump into it, it's an opportunity to just clear out what we've been holding on to. We know it's not serving us. That can be old or toxic feelings or thoughts, patterns, habits. And sometimes the pause doesn't have to be actually doing anything, but just simply a place to rest, especially if you feel like you've been running on empty lately. It can just be a place to re-nourish. I'll leave you here for just a few moments in silence on my end and stillness. You can just soak up this time for yourself, and I'll bring you out of this so we can close off practice together. Sometimes I get into this habit, this old pattern of feeling like I need to be liked by everyone, or I need to impress everyone. And it becomes chaotic. And there's no pauses for myself because it's always about other people. And I think a lot of us fall into that habit of just moving and going and doing for everyone else, but we forget that we also need that pause for us. And so this is your moment to just shift into your own heart work and your own purpose and your own art. And to trust that that will land in the hearts of who it's meant to. And that you won't always be for everyone, just as everyone isn't for you. But you are for someone. And to that someone, what you have to give matters. And that's really the beginning of everything. To remember that there will always be someone that really appreciates what you have to give. And so maybe we stop giving out so freely and we just start to give our truth and authenticity that often comes from a place of pause and a place of rest, rather than a place of lack or not enough. If you want to stay here on your back to close off your practice, you're welcome to. If you prefer to come to seated, you can just gently start to move into your body and continue this emphasis of the pause by just, moving slowly, not rushing into the rest of your day, really taking your time to navigate whatever ups and downs today holds. And you can do that just in simply how you move your body, how you choose to breathe. If you are coming to seated, you can just gently guide your hands to heart center. And take a deep breath in. Hold in fullness. And then just completely let that go. I'm so grateful for each of you for joining me on these morning practices. It's my favorite way to wake up, to just move with you and connect with like-minded individuals. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Namaste. Okay. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend. As always, I'll stay on with the journal prompt. You're welcome to complete it now or anytime at your convenience. And if you are leaving, have a wonderful weekend ahead of you. Oh, we're good. I'm just gonna leave it. Journal prompts for this one. I always just kind of think is there anywhere that you've been really reactive? So where a pause would have really helped to just kind of, ooh, okay, I need a break. I'm feeling overly emotional, or I'm feeling really hurt, or just that kind of intensity of feelings. So whether it's, directed with someone or just in your own head, it just kind of feels like that tumbling of thoughts or emotions or whatever is kind of happening internally. And to just, sometimes take a pause, whether it's you're in an argument with someone or you don't see eye to eye and it's just getting more and more heightened. And sometimes you just need that breakaway to kind of calm down and be like, oh, okay, I actually can see it from your perspective when given the distance. Or, and I think this comes a lot with compassion, is being able to see people for humans. We can't see that when we're in the thick of the forest of, emotions or frustration. So yeah, if that lands at any point, it can be situational based, of just where do I need to take more pauses, whether it's work or family or friends. But it can also be for yourself too. Do you find you're just running on empty all the time? And why is that happening? To just take a pause to sit with, where can I start to add more time and space for myself?